Morning Year 4, it is Thursday, so you're on the second part of your week now, and remember you've only got 1 week to go after this of home learning and then we're all back together, so really exciting thing to look forward to. And I'll show you my sleepy kitten again, who's just been lying on my lap for the last hour because she's just become a little baby recently, which is really quite sweet. And she's also got in the habit of every morning she wakes up she has to have a long cuddle, so that's what she's doing at the moment. So anyway, let me get on to the answer for yesterday's riddle. So yesterday's riddle was the more you take away, the more I become. What am I? And I did say it is a very tricky one. And I think it proved it that not that many people got it in the Year 4 chat, but that's fine. I don't think I would have got it. It's really tricky. But it makes sense once you know the answer. So the answer is, the more you take away, the more I become. What am I? It is a hole. So the more earth you take away from digging your hole, the bigger the hole becomes. So it all makes sense once you actually know the answer, but it is quite a tricky one. Hopefully today's you'll be able to get a little bit easier. I think today's is a bit easier. So before we go on to today's riddle, we're going to do another one of this day in history. So on this day in history in 1965, so how long ago is that? Should we work that out? So 2021, sorry. And 65, that is 56 years ago. So 56 years ago, so some of your parents, or probably not your parents, your grandparents would have been alive during this. So 56 years ago, your parents might have been alive during this. You could ask them if they remember, or if your grandparents remember next time you see them or next time you talk to them. There was a very famous man called Muhammad Ali, who some of you have probably heard of, and on this day, in 1965, a young Muhammad Ali, who's only 22 years old, which is very young to be very successful, gets his first world title. So those of you who know who Muhammad Ali is, he was actually a boxer. And he wasn't just an ordinary boxer, he actually became the heavyweight champion of the world. Muhammad Ali, who later changed his name to Cassius Clay, shocked people on this day in history by beating Sonny Liston, who was the current heavyweight boxing champion, because people hadn't really heard of this Muhammad Ali, who later became Cassius Clay. So they thought that this Sonny Liston guy was going to stay being the heavyweight champion and he wasn't going to be beaten. But actually, Muhammad Ali defeated him. And he actually had the confidence and he believed in himself that he was going to do this, because he was actually interviewed before this match, or what do you call it? Fight? Yes, fight, I think. I've probably got Taran screaming at the screen at me now because he's like, Miss Niles, you don't know anything about boxing. But yes, so he actually predicted that he would win, and there's a very famous quote from him which he said to the press just before this fight happened. So he actually said that during this fight he would float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. So he knew that he was going to win and he was really confident in himself. And I'm sure you know from when we set our goals on Monday that being confident in yourself and believing in yourself is really important to achieving your goals. So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting on this day, and I'm sure lots of you are quite interested in Muhammad Ali, later became Cassius Clay. And when we come back to school, I do actually have a little biography of him that you can read if you like. Okay, on to today's riddle. So today's riddle, as I said, is a little bit easier than yesterday's. It is, I have 2 hands, but I cannot scratch myself. What am I? So leave your guesses of what you think the answer is in the Year 4 chat. Can't wait to read them. I have 2 hands, but I cannot scratch myself. What am I? Okay, and then today I'll just read you through your timetable nice and quickly. We have a challenge, and this challenge is actually quite a cool trick that I've shown some of the children that I've been teaching in school, of how to memorise your 3 and 6 times tables, or how to check them if you think, oh, maybe I'm not quite right, or maybe I've made a mistake. So have a look at this video. It's not very long and it actually shows us a really cool trick. After that, we've got numeracy, which Mr. Savage has set. Then we've got our break time, Hopefully you're taking advantage of the weather being a bit nicer, it's a bit warmer, you can stay outside a bit longer, and it's actually got lots of signs of spring now, so you can see the crocuses coming out, daffodils coming out maybe near you, and some lovely snowdrops I've seen when I've been out on my runs and walks. Then after that we have literacy, where we're actually going to be writing our postcard, and then we've got our Spanish and handwriting. So this is when we are practicing writing in a cursive style, and we're actually going to be practicing saying the question and answering the question in lots of different ways of, do you like running, I think it is today. Do you like running? Then we've got lunch, then we've got story time, which we're looking at some more inspirational people. Then we've got an outdoor maths challenge. So I've inserted a sheet onto this page, and you can pick whichever challenge you want to do. But as I said, I really hope the weather's nice for the rest of today. If not, you can save it until the weather is a bit nicer, or maybe when you've got grown up who can go outside with you. That's fine, I don't mind when you do it. And you can pick one of the things from that grid and go out and do it. Hopefully it'll be nice and fun to get outside and do some maths. Then we've got a little history lesson, and then reading for pleasure. So I hope you have a lovely day, guys. You're nearly at the end of the week, so well done, and then it's just one more week to go. I'll say goodbye from Ivy as well, because she's very, very sleepy and sweet. Ooh. Bye, guys.